Philadelphia is a city in the state of Pennsylvania in the United States. It is the sixth most populous city in the United States and the most populous city in the state of Pennsylvania, with a 2019 estimated population of 1.5 million. It is also the second most populous city in the Northeastern United States, behind New York City. Philadelphia is one of the oldest municipalities in the United States. William Penn, an English Quaker, founded the city in 1682 to serve as capital of the Pennsylvania colony. Philadelphia played an instrumental role in the American Revolution as a meeting place for the founding fathers of the United States, who signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776 at the Second Continental Congress and the Constitution at the Philadelphia Convention of 1787. Several other key events occurred in Philadelphia during the Revolutionary War, including the First Continental Congress, the preservation of the Liberty Bell, the Battle of Germantown, and the Siege of Fort Mifflin. Philadelphia remained the nation's largest city until being overtaken by New York City in 1790. The city was also one of the nation's capitals during the Revolution, serving as temporary U.S. capital while Washington, D.C. was under construction. In the 19th and 20th centuries, Philadelphia became a major industrial center and a railroad hub. The city grew due to an influx of European immigrants, most of whom initially came from Ireland and Germany, the two largest reported ancestry groups in the city as of 2015. Later immigrant groups in the 20th century came from Italy and other Southern European and Eastern European countries. In the early 20th century, Philadelphia became a prime destination for African Americans during the Great Migration after the Civil War. Puerto Ricans began moving to the city in large numbers in the period between World War I and II, and in even greater numbers in the post-war period. The city's population doubled from 1 million to 2 million people between 1890 and 1950. The Philadelphia area's many universities and colleges make it a top study destination as the city has evolved into an educational and economic hub. As of 2019, the Philadelphia metropolitan area is estimated to produce a gross metropolitan product of $490 billion. Philadelphia is the center of economic activity in Pennsylvania and is home to 5 Fortune 1000 companies. The Philadelphia skyline is expanding, with a market of almost 81,900 commercial properties in 2016, including several nationally prominent skyscrapers. Philadelphia has more outdoor sculptures and murals than any other American city. Fairmount Park, when combined with the adjacent Wissahickon Valley Park in the same watershed, is one of the largest contiguous urban park areas in the United States. The city is known for its arts, culture, cuisine, and colonial history, attracting 42 million domestic tourists in 2016 who spent $6.8 billion, generating an estimated $11 billion in total economic impact in the city and surrounding 4 counties of Pennsylvania. Philadelphia has also emerged as a biotechnology hub. Philadelphia is the home of many U.S. firsts, including the first library, 1731, hospital, 1751, medical school, 1765, national capital, 1774, stock exchange, 1790, zoo, 1874, and business school, 1881. Philadelphia contains 67 National Historic Landmarks and the World Heritage Site of Independence Hall. The city became a member of the Organization of World Heritage Cities in 2015 as the first World Heritage City in the United States. Dallas is a city in the U.S. state of Texas. With an estimated 2019 population of 1.35 million, it is the 9th most populous city in the U.S. and the 3rd largest in Texas after Houston and San Antonio. Located in North Texas, the city of Dallas is the main core of the largest metropolitan area in the southern United States and the largest inland metropolitan area in the U.S. that lacks any navigable link to the sea. It is the most populous city in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the 4th largest metropolitan area in the country at 7.5 million people. Dallas and nearby Fort Worth were initially developed due to the construction of major railroad lines through the area, allowing access to cotton, cattle, and later oil in North and East Texas. The construction of the interstate highway system reinforced Dallas' prominence as a transportation hub, with 4 major interstate highways converging in the city and a 5th interstate loop around it. Dallas then developed as a strong industrial and financial center and a major inland port due to the convergence of major railroad lines, interstate highways, and the construction of Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, one of the largest and busiest airports in the world. In addition, Dallas has Dallas Area Rapid Transit with different colored train lines that transport throughout the metroplex. Dominant sectors of its diverse economy include defense, financial services, information technology, telecommunications, and transportation. Dallas is home to 10 Fortune 500 companies within the city limits. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex hosts an additional 23 Fortune 500 companies, including American Airlines and ExxonMobil. Over 41 colleges and universities are located within its metropolitan area, which is the most of any metropolitan area in Texas. The city has a population from a myriad of ethnic and religious backgrounds and one of the largest LGBT communities in the U.S. Wallet Hub named Dallas the 5th most diverse city in the U.S. in 2018. In its beginnings, Dallas relied on farming, neighboring Fort Worth stockyards, and its prime location on Native American trade routes to sustain itself. Dallas' key to growth came in 1873 after the construction of multiple rail lines through the city. As Dallas grew and technology developed, cotton became its boon, and by 1900, Dallas was the largest inland cotton market in the world, becoming a leader in cotton machinery manufacturing. By the early 1900s, Dallas was a hub for economic activity all over the southern United States and was selected in 1914 as the seat of the 11th Federal Reserve District. By 1925, Texas churned out more than 1/3 of the nation's cotton crop, with 31% of Texas cotton produced within a 100-mile radius of Dallas. In the 1930s, petroleum was discovered east of Dallas, near Kilgore. Dallas' proximity to the discovery put it immediately at the center of the nation's petroleum market. Petroleum discoveries in the Permian Basin, the Panhandle, the Gulf Coast, and Oklahoma in the following years further solidified Dallas' position as the hub of the market. The end of World War II left Dallas seated with a nexus of communications, engineering, and production talent by companies such as Collins Radio Corporation. Decades later, the telecommunications and information revolution still drive a large portion of the local economy. The city is sometimes referred to as the heart of Silicon Prairie because of a high concentration of telecommunications companies in the region, the epicenter of which lies along the telecom corridor in Richardson, a northern suburb of Dallas.